Hildy is a bawdy, chain-smoking, 70-something former journalist who lives on the Upper West Side in an apartment that has a portal back to 1973. Time travel has rules, though, and Hildy breaks them by traveling back with healthcare aide Trista. Now both women will have to come to terms with their pasts before they lose their chance at having a future. From Ahoy Comics comes Elisa Whitney's Guilt. That's Gilt, a comic book that's Sex and the City meets the Golden Girls by way of the Twilight Zone. Call your local comic book store and ask them to order your copy of Guilt today. Welcome to Endless, a Sandman podcast from Chipperish Media. I'm story expert Lani Diane Rich.
And I'm writer and erstwhile DC Comics editor Elisa Whitney. Today on Endless, we're going to be chatting about the Sandman TV show and the return of the Endless.
Forgive me, sire, the palace, the realm, they are not as you left them. Time to wake up. All right. Oh my God, Elisa, here we are back recording Endless again. This is very exciting stuff. How have you been?
I have been really well, and I'm glad to be re-engaging with Sandman. I think I've been going through some Sandman withdrawal.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely have. You and I have been still communicating behind the scenes, but tell everybody a little bit about your summer vacation and what you've been up to.
On a personal note, I went to Taos, New Mexico to visit my daughter at the Earthship Academy, which is really great. It's very Martian eco architecture.
I love that.
It was, you really can imagine being contacted by aliens there. And on a more earthbound note, Guilt, my time travel Upper West Side comic, has been coming out. I think we're on issue 3, probably tomorrow.
Oh,
and is it 3? I've been losing, as always happens with things. I'm on to the next project, which I can't talk about yet, but it's been so exciting to see the last issue of Guilt as Alana is finishing it up, and I'm really excited.
Yay. So everybody, that's Gilt, go out to your local comic book store and grab yourself some copies every time they come out. It's amazing. It's wonderful. I've had a chance to get a little preview of it, and I absolutely adore it. It's great. I have been working on In the Gutter, which is a podcast about comic books with a comic book superhero scholar, Joshua Unruh, who did Listen Up A-Holes with him, where we covered the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. But now he wants to make sure that we are reading all bangers all the time. So we're very excited. We're starting out with Captain America, Winter Soldier, Ed Brubaker, 2004. There's a lot of versions of Captain America, Winter Soldier, so that's the one. But it's very fun. It's really great. We're having a great time. That comes out on July 4th.
So I don't remember if I've read that. If I want to pick up the right or an edition that can help me read along, do you have it linked somewhere in your show notes? Or
Yes, absolutely. If you go to inthegutter.transistor.fm, you'll find the website for the page. The teaser episode is up there where we announce and introduce. And there will be a link in the show notes that people can get to the absolute right comic to read. And I heartily recommend it. It's amazing. So much of what I've learned here working with you on Endless has been applicable there. And I'm learning stuff there. It's just been amazing. The more I learn about comics, the more fascinated I am by the genre, and the more excited I get for the TV show based on these comics that is coming out. We got a release date, August 5th. We have a second trailer that came out on June 6th. Elisa and I are going to watch them here live with you. And then in between, we're going to try to see if we can get some early access shenanigans going on so that we can drop the first episode, at least, of Endless responding to the TV show when the embargo ends on August 5th. So that's all very exciting stuff. Trust us. There is more coming. Hang in there, guys. I know that we've been hearing from you. We know that you want Endless back. It is coming back. So what we're going to do now is look at the first look trailer that came out last year in September. And we're also going to look at the new trailer that just came out June 6th. I'll play the audio underneath so y'all can see where we are. And we'll talk a little bit about our responses to that.
And it will be like a little amuse-bouche to tempt you to until we have the full meal.
Until we have the full meal, this is your amuse-bouche.
We will summon and imprison
Oh my God. I just love how beautiful this is. Right off. It's
It
amazing.
it feels like being in a movie theater to me.
It really does. I mean, it is astounding, these effects. It's just beautiful. And isn't that that's Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones,
That
isn't it? I
is
can't remember the
Charles
actor's name.
Dance.
Yes.
Suddenly remembering when Sandman came out, he was still like a hero and Jewel in the
Yeah.
Crown. And
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so beautifully put together. The visuals here are just incredible. And I love these, this flashing to black constantly throughout, punctuating the visuals on this.
oh, Tom
Look at him.
Sturridge.
Yeah.
That's a good look.
Yeah.
That's a good,
that
my
is
eyes are bottomless pools of darkness look.
absolutely. That is a dude who can brood, and I'm into it. Like you are seeing the brooding, right?
Yes.
That's just incredible. So again, this is the one that was released last year, and we did talk about it a little bit, but watching it live, it sets up the beginning of the story. We get Roderick Burgess, we get the magic, we get all of these things. And we also get, what I love about this is that it starts with this guy just fucking everything up, right? Here is this bad guy who has this plan to capture death and all this grand stuff. And then he's like, well, all right, I got Dream. I guess I'll just keep him, And I love that detail about that opening was that he never wanted Dream in the first place. That this is a guy who is failing upward, right? He just screws everything up and yet still manages to cause and wreak so much havoc. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I think it's interesting because he wants to be immortal, but as everyone I know gets older, I could see people really wanting to capture Dream and just deal with their insomnia.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to watch the second trailer here in a second, but one of the things I want to apologize for is that there is construction going on at my apartment complex, and it is right outside my window. So anybody hears the banging in the background, I do apologize.
I'm the king of dreams.
Oh my God. This too. I love the hat. He's got the hat. He's got the sand.
Helm.
What are you doing
The helm.
He's coming, isn't he?
That is a very sexy dream. That's a Dringenberg dream. Joanna Constantine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she was in the original series as an ancestor of John Constantine.
Yes.
Here she's.
I like that they're bringing her into the moment, and apparently there's going to be some rewriting of that character. And Jenna Coleman, I'm so excited to see her.
He's so naked. I like what's in your hands.
But look at him. He's so ethereal. Like he's so, Oh, and look at. Okay. The new Lucien, I am into it. I love that reimagining. So beautiful. The sand. It's just amazing. Oh, and this.
He's out of his cage.
That trickle of blood is just so creepy. I love it. And then, we end on this one little coda thing where he's leaning down to talk to Matthew. And oh my God, Matthew the Raven, I think, is the character that has stolen my heart the most out of everything in there. So, Elisa, what did you think about the second trailer, the new trailer?
So I'm sorry, I was just realizing I'm joking about the nudity. I don't mean to be too light about it because I was thinking, I've been dipping my foot in some Star Trek stuff for the first time in ages. And I think I struggle with anyone who isn't Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
And the reason is, to really be that sort of human Vulcan, you have to, everything has to be incredibly contained. And yet you have to have all this sense of what's underneath the surface. And that's, I think, very much what it takes to do a role like Dream. It has to be so contained. And there's this broodiness perhaps on the surface, but you have to have the feeling of something much deeper underneath. And I'm getting that.
Oh, absolutely. Tom Sturridge is bringing this whole thing to life. That is some amazing casting. I don't think that there's any casting in this that I'm not completely excited about. I love all of we had flashes of some of the Endless. We saw Death for just a second. And of course, Kirby Howell-Baptiste, one of my favorite actors. I absolutely love her. I love this Jenna, like the Johanna Constantine being more present. I think that's going to be a really interesting change. Vivienne Chiampong as Lucienne being, feminized. We've got a Black actor in there. I can't even tell you how much I am so in love with all of this casting.
I think so too. Now, I know, the original Lucienne was another horror host like Cain and Abel. I don't think, despite my avid horror reading as a kid, I don't think I ever read, what was it? I lost my notes while we were doing it. Was it Tales of Haunted Castle?
Yeah.
And that was Paul Levitz and Nestor Redondo. I'm not looking at my notes. I'm like, I have lost everything. So
I am looking at your notes and it says Tales of Ghost Castle. So
Tales of Ghost Castle. So I didn't have that same attachment. And I always had this slight, I am one of those people, if I were Lois Lane, I'd never figure out the Clark Kent Superman thing. Characters that look at all similar confound me forever.
Yeah.
And I thought Lucienne and Cain had a little similarity that I know Lucienne's supposed to be, I think, much taller, but I'm really here for them being so clearly different. I mean, when you get to know Lucienne and Cain are obviously nothing alike, but so I like that.
It's really interesting, really fun. I love the visuals of the dreaming and what that is like. That is going to be amazing. We have that little hint at the end of Matthew the Raven, which I think is absolutely wonderful and delightful. I'm so looking forward to Patton Oswalt voicing that.
Me too. Absolutely. I love Matthew the Raven and I love Patton Oswalt. I don't know that I would have just thought of Patton Oswalt as being a raven. I probably would have seen him more perhaps as an owl, but I can totally now, I'm here for the Raven casting.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt is actually a long history of doing bird voices. He was, of course, the penguin in BoJack Horseman, but he's actually a lot of voice work that is really, really good. He's for such a great stand-up comedian. He's also like a really good actor, and I think that he can absolutely bring some of that. I don't necessarily want to say gravitas to Matthew, but there's a depth to Matthew that I think, even though he's a comedian, he'll bring the humor without a problem. I think he can also bring those emotional hits. Which I'm really looking forward to someday seeing Matthew run off with that red balloon that I love so much. Okay, we got to talk about the Corinthian because creepy.
Yes. I have to say that I've been meaning for ages to read the Corinthian comic, the newer one that's James Tynion IV, and I haven't yet, but I love the Corinthian as a character, and I love the fact that they're keeping something a little concealed that will get the striptease of the revelation of all the things the Corinthian is.
Oh my God, it's just going to be amazing. And we didn't get to see Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer. They're holding that back, and I don't blame them. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back on August 5th with our response to the first episode of the television series, and then coming to you weekly after that until we run through the entire season. After we're done talking about the first season of the TV show, we will take a brief hiatus and then return to read A Game of You, Sandman Volume 5, to keep us company through the long, dry spell between TV seasons. In the meantime, if you're a comics lover, go grab Elisa's series, Guilt, that's GILT, at your local comic book store, and read along with me and Joshua Unruh on In the Gutter, which you can subscribe to now through whatever podcast app tickles your fancy. The first episode launches on July 4th with Ed Brubaker's Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Link to the correct volume is in the show notes.